The last global pandemic changed everything: how we live, travel, and think. It reminded us that microscopic threats can reshape the entire world overnight. But COVID-19 may have only been the beginning. Because scientists warn, the next pandemic is already brewing, and it may come from the wild. From the rainforests to the savannas, from caves to crowded markets, wild animals are harboring viruses we've never seen, and can barely understand. And with every deforestation, every illegal wildlife trade, every human-animal encounter, the chances of the next spillover grow stronger, and deadlier. Zoonotic diseases, those that jump from animals to humans, are nothing new. HIV came from primates. Ebola is linked to bats. SARS likely originated in civets. COVID-19 may have come from pangolins or bats. Even the seasonal flu has roots in bird and pig populations. But what's changed is how often, and how fast, these viruses can now spread. Because we've altered the planet in ways evolution never accounted for. Human expansion is pushing deeper into wild ecosystems than ever before. We're building farms, roads, and cities into places where wildlife once thrived undisturbed. This brings people into direct contact with exotic species and unknown pathogens. Viruses that once stayed in forest canopies are now entering kitchens and markets. One infected animal. One bite. One meal. One trade. That's all it takes. In Southeast Asia, bushmeat markets and wildlife farms are booming businesses. In West Africa, fruit bats, natural Ebola hosts, are increasingly hunted for food. In South America, deforestation displaces monkeys, rodents, and bats into human villages. Every single encounter is a possible start to the next global health crisis.
The World Health Organization calls it Disease X, a placeholder for the unknown virus that could trigger the next pandemic.
And experts agree, it's likely to emerge from a wild animal reservoir. Bats, rodents, and primates are the top suspects, due to their virus-carrying history. But snakes, birds, and even insects are not far behind. Imagine a virus jumping from a wild animal to a human farmer. It spreads silently for weeks, mild symptoms, nothing alarming. Then it mutates. It adapts to humans. It becomes airborne. By the time the first cluster is noticed, it's already in 5 countries. Airports shut down. Borders close. Hospitals overflow. And the world scrambles, again, for answers, treatments, and vaccines. This time, it might be worse. The virus could spread faster. It could hide longer before detection. It could evade existing antiviral drugs or mimic harmless diseases. It could kill not just the old or sick, but children, animals, or pregnant women. And if it mutates faster than we respond, humanity's best tools may fall short. So what makes wild animals such dangerous sources of pandemics? It's not because they're evil or diseased, it's because they're diverse. Wild animals carry thousands of viruses that have never jumped into humans before. They've evolved with pathogens for millennia, building tolerance we don't have. When those viruses enter human systems, the result can be deadly chaos. And now, with climate change, those wild species are moving into new areas. Bats are flying farther. Rodents are breeding faster. Ticks and mosquitoes are expanding into cities and suburbs. The wild is no longer far, it's moving closer every year. Meanwhile, illegal wildlife trade is exploding globally. Animals are trafficked across borders, often sick, injured, or crammed into filthy cages. Blood, saliva, and feces mix in markets with no health regulations. Each market becomes a viral time bomb, just waiting to go off. And in many places, these trades are still legal, or ignored entirely. Scientists are racing to prepare for the next spillover event. They're mapping animal genomes, sampling viruses, and running global surveillance programs. Early warning systems are being tested in high-risk regions and rural hospitals. But most countries still lack funding, training, or infrastructure to catch an outbreak early. And by the time symptoms show, it may be too late. So what can be done? First, we must drastically reduce illegal wildlife trade, online, on land, and across seas. Enforce bans on bushmeat markets and unsanitary animal slaughter sites. Support alternative incomes for hunters and communities dependent on animal trade. Second, invest in global early detection systems, especially in remote, biodiverse regions. Equip local clinics to identify suspicious outbreaks before they spread globally. Third, protect wild habitats. When forests are preserved, animals stay in their ecosystems, and pathogens stay with them. Every acre protected is a buffer against the next zoonotic leap. And finally, public awareness must change. Pandemics don't start in labs or movies, they start in forests, caves, and markets. Our daily choices, what we eat, where we build, how we consume, all play a role. The next pandemic may already exist in an animal, silently waiting for contact. Stopping it starts with prevention, not panic. So, what if the next pandemic comes from a wild animal? Then the battle won't be fought in ER rooms alone. It will be fought in jungles, farms, and market stalls. It will be fought through science, policy, and how much we value nature. Because the next outbreak may come from the wild. But whether it becomes a global disaster? That's entirely up to us.